Um, how many people have been in that situation and they haven't responded in a way that disempowered themselves? Okay. Can you put your hands up a bit higher? Do you mind? Okay. Can you give me a couple of examples of what you did?
I just became better. What I did.
How did you become better?
I stayed focused. I didn't
Okay.
lose sight of whatever it was I was supposed to deliver.
So you stayed
So they
focused, you
didn't
didn't lose
phase me. I
sight?
didn't allow them to phase me
Yeah.
and make me sort of crumble and lose sight of what I was doing, so I failed, which
Yeah.
might have been what they wanted. So I stayed focused.
Yeah.
I armed myself with whatever I needed to, resources, information,
So what
knowledge,
kinds of resources?
whatever was required for the task. It might have been, I don't know, materials, could have been IT, could
Yeah.
have been staff, any further information that I could use in order to deliver better, quicker, faster,
Okay.
bigger. That's how I lately have dealt with it. In the days of old, you know, you have to, as you get older, you get
Yeah.
wiser.
Okay.
So that's how I deal with it now. You're
Okay.
trying to, if I feel you're trying to rumble me, I might try to approach it in an indirect way to see if there's what the problem is, why you feel threatened or why you're behaving like that. If I don't feel I can approach it in that way, I just get on with the task in hand
So you
without
stay
allowing you
focused
to
and you
phase
get
me.
resourceful.
Yeah.
So you make sure that you do your research. Julie, can you just hear these things? I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Yeah? Mary? What do you do?
Sorry, I didn't know you were going to come to me, Jane. Well, I agree with everything you were saying about kind of like making yourself better, but also one of the things that I'm really strong about is when someone lacks belief in me, I don't feel I need to prove myself to them. And I think it's about a level of knowledge of self.
So what do you do?
It comes from the grounding that's there prior to. When people don't believe, it's not having an expectation of others to give to you what you need to have. It's about having that as a grounding for yourself.
So you
And so it's about, you have to ground yourself, because if you're reliant, always,
Okay.
yeah?
That's 3. Who else put their hands up? Do you say to yourself, yeah?
Yeah, just to sort of explain it in another way, I had a situation where a friend of mine. I had a situation where a friend of mine was sort of putting me down in something that's
Yeah.
my profession, and I thought, you know, I felt like I had to sort of prove myself, and then I was asking myself why. And this happened a couple of years ago. I was watching TV, and on BBC One, there's this professor, a doctor professor with a mustache. I don't know his name. Anyway, I watched on his program. He's talking about psychology, and he made a point of saying, like, you know, if somebody says this to you, you can actually stop them, tell them how it makes you feel,
Yeah.
and I thought, let me try it. But my friend came the next time, and he did the same thing. And I was driving, and I actually stopped the car, and I looked at him and I said, listen, that was very rude what you said. I think you should apologize. And he did. And after that, he never put me down on that. And I felt like really good. And I thought, next time I'm not even going to say I think. I'm going to say you should apologize.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you. So that's 4. Tracy? You put your hand up, Tracy?
Yeah, I did, and I'm thinking a lot of what people have already said, but I think one of the things I do is just believe it myself, and I don't focus on them.
So how do you do that?
I don't know, I just continue doing... I think I continue doing what I'm doing because at the end of the day I don't know what their reasons are.
So you create boundaries around yourself?
Yeah, I think to some degree, because I think if I'm not doing anything wrong and what I'm doing is right, then that's all good. And at the end of the day, I don't know what their issues are, and what they're saying is possibly not about me at all.
Yeah.
And in most cases, it really isn't. It's all about them.
Okay.
And it's whether or not I give them power or I take power for myself.
Okay. Right, I just want to gather a few more, yeah?
I had a situation where somebody was belittling me and making me feel as if I wasn't good for the job that I was doing, but I knew that I was. And what I did, I spoke to another friend because I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to give myself all these different things to prove, it would tire me. So I asked this friend, what should I do? And she said something, she said, you're not going to like this. When she's awful to you, in your mind, send her love.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to send her. And I used to say, I send you effing love. And they said, no. So I started to say, I send you love. And I kept doing it. And it was amazing. It changed around, she changed. We were friends in the end. And I just said that all the time. Although I didn't believe it at the time, but I kept saying it. And in the end, I think my face was different, my whole approach was different. I don't know, she probably didn't feel threatened by me. I think that's what the problem was in the first place.
Okay, great. So in that example, Pam changed her state first. She was sending love, but notice what she said. Her body changed, her face changed, how she began to feel in herself. So it's like energy. Some of this is working with energy. So by shifting how she feels in herself, it actually starts to connect with the people that you're sending that love to. And effing love turns into so much love. Do you know what I mean? Seriously. Yeah? So let's just know, I'm going to keep going. Yeah, Lorna?
Yeah, I had a situation at work where I was put in my place, basically told that seeing me speaking to particular staff members, the colleague said, who was higher, more senior to me, said they didn't like the way it looked, and I couldn't understand. I felt very uncomfortable with what was said, and what I've learned to do is to go away from the situation and come back to it, because I need to assess it and think about what's actually going on in my head. And when I did that, the next morning I wrote down my notes. So it's very important, if you're not clear on what you're saying, write it down. And then I presented it to her, and what came out was really, really positive, because I thought I could either go around and be angry about it and not get anywhere, but I actually confronted her with it, which made her feel uncomfortable and made her deal with me in a professional manner. So I reflected professionalism to her, and she had to give it back to me.
Right.
So,
Jackee, I know, I'm not just because I know this part's really flowing, and I've seen you work, and you get really deep.
I've got to finish this.
I know. I'm just going to bring in some more questions. Yeah, just
very quickly.
Okay.
Which of those resonates with you? Which of those could you go away and try? Of all the things that people said.
The last bit of your sister.
Great.
Yeah. In the sense that I understand what is being said on the outside of the room is not to do with me, it's them. And sending love. If some people work very hard at being miserable.
But just notice, Julie, just notice what works for you. All we do in that situation is find out what works for her. Notice, I didn't think that I had to have the answer as a coach. What I did is I actually worked. I could have worked in the session. We've come up with different solutions that we could try. I could have gotten Julie. We could have just come up with those solutions. But we've got a resourceful. We've got resources here. We've got people. We've got real life experiences. And you found the one that resonated for you, and that's the one I would encourage you. Then I would work on the actions. She could go out and try that one.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Jack.
No, sorry, but I just didn't want to leave Julie.
That's right.
Yeah.
What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go just a little bit longer, because I think we're on a nice plane. And what I like is when Jackee asks you, how did you do that? And very simply, if you know how you do it, you can always improve on it, which is incredibly important. If you have a question over, not being partisan, if you have a question over this side of the room. Yes. The name and speak here.
Hello, my name's Ngozi.
Yes.
I'd like to.
Can't hear you.
Sorry. I'd like to know what your feelings are with regards to living for the moment, particularly when you've had experiences which have created fear.
Okay. Did anyone hear the question? The question was, she would like to know what Jackee's thoughts are about living for the moment, especially when you've had experiences that have brought upon fear.
Yes.
Yes?
Fear issues.
Fear issues.
Correct. And that really, I heard that many, many years ago, and that so resonated with me, because it's almost as if I'm living in fear and I'm not living in the moment, I'm not breathing in the moment. I'm not breathing and seeing what is possible right now, what is here right now. And you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that the present is called the present. Because if we're in the present, we get the gifts that are happening to us in this moment. Now, I mean, I haven't seen you for a long time,